Now, this is almost entirely functional. The only time we get funky is when we get past that 450 or 60 pixel width here, and a count starts disappearing. So what I'm curious about is if there's maybe some other style we can adjust at this same breakpoint that could allow this to work at that breakpoint instead of adding a second breakpoint for this juncture here. So my thought is that if we inspect this and we navigate up to the nav wrapper here, we're setting a fixed width, which means that if the browser isn't big enough to fit it, it's going to make us horizontally scroll to see the rest of it. But if we set this width to something relative to the browser window size, then it'll just stay fluid within the confines of the browser. So if we set the width instead to 100% to go all the way across, then you can see how the content starts to cascade to a second line here. And as we expand, it still works because it's centered in the browser. Now we're seeing this line stretch all the way across, so we'd have to decide whether it's worth having that extra border, or we could also drop the border as we move down to a single column. But this would fix our problem of what happens on even smaller screens. So let's use this strategy. So this is in our nav wrapper, which is right down here. And so let's grab this breakpoint and let's paste it in our nav wrapper, and let's set the width to 100%. And we'll save it, and we'll refresh it in the browser to test it out. And so as we get smaller, it breaks into multiple lines. And as we get bigger and bump past our breakpoint, it will get a fixed width and go into the 3-column layout. Perfect.